Hello, fabulous Libra. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of December 2014, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month starts off with a focus that is, to put it the best way possible, largely social. There's lots of social energy taking place for you, a lot of friendship energy taking place for you as well. And I do think that at least one friend is likely to surprise you and delight you in the sense that, and I'm going to just put this out there, and I'll talk a lot more about this in the love-focused horoscope as well, but it is that kind of partnership, getting together vibe, especially where it comes to your friends, the people you like to spend time with. Even if you're one of those Libras who isn't so fond of being around groups in general, this is a time when certainly it could pay off big time with you making the right connection where you feel very understood by the person presented to you now. Again, I'll talk about this in terms of the love-focused horoscope. But if we're looking at it from a general overview focus, this could be a time when you meet somebody who ends up being a partner in business, or at the very least in ideas as well, who ends up being a really great sort of sounding post for you to give you some advice and to let you know if you're on the path that you really want to be on, and if you're not, what you can do to actually adjust course so that you can move in the direction of your higher dreams and hopes and wishes that you have for your life. In fact, it might even be a friend who helps facilitate the actualization of a very dearly held dream or ambition that you have. Ambition may not actually be the right word. I want you to think a little bit more lofty. Okay, it's not just about some career opportunity necessarily. That's not what I'm seeing. I'm seeing this a little bit more elevated. I'm seeing this more lofty. I'm seeing that there is some big wish that you have, and it is very close. In fact, it is graspable now. And it is going to involve you being nice to people. And it's going to involve you, which I think that you're great at anyways, but it is going to involve you being willing to engage people as equals, which you're really good at, but being willing to be friendly with people, being willing to be social, and being willing to meet people in groups and in social settings. It is in that you'll find yourself in an easy energy and an easy flow to manifest one of your higher visions, your higher goals for your life. It is towards the later part of the month that the focus does change, and in some cases dramatically so. And this is a focus that comes to home. So it is home that takes on a greater focus for you. Aspects of home, aspects of where you're actually living, that is a literal understanding of home. And then there is also a more metaphorical understanding of home as well, in terms of how you feel at home within yourself, within your own body, within your own skin. How safe do you feel within yourself as you walk around this world? All of that is going to get a much needed fresh start and a much needed burst of healing as well. Those of you, for some of you out there, because there's that connotation to home, there may be a connection here to your family of origin as well. And so do stay open to that and do keep that in mind. Ultimately, this is about you seeing the past and your primary relationships. And by primary relationships, I mean those ones that reach right into your childhood, mainly with our caregivers, our main caregivers, the people who were around us, who were close to us as we were very young children. It is about you understanding those dynamics very differently. And this is actually part of a ongoing process that's been with you since late last decade, will be with you into the next decade as well. This is part of an ongoing process that will slowly but surely help you to transform the way you understand what has been, so that you can get a clearer understanding of who you are right now, of what is, of the present, and from there make choices that are empowered, that are knowledgeable, and that are ethical, so that you can direct your life in the direction and the future that you desire it to go. You know, I look at the sky for you, and especially the sky playing out in the middle of the month and later in the month as well. And I think about how the energy does really change for you. As I said, the beginning of the month, there's a lot of social energy. There are some things that are a little challenging, and I'll talk about those in the week-to-week horoscopes, the weekly horoscopes that I do. But for the most part, I think you'll be just fine. You'll be navigating it well. You'll find a lot of support there for you as well, which is why once the focus does start to shift, it may take you a little bit by surprise. Why all of a sudden you want to spend time alone? Why all of a sudden you're feeling more reflective? You may even be feeling like isolating. And you may be thinking about how you are going to do things now that are different than the way that they were done way, way back in the day. I look at the sky for you and I think about how, you know, in every chart, in every given life, there is at least one area of life where we are invited to elevate the situation. We are invited to take what the current course of action is, or what path we've sort of been put on, and decide that we are going to be a force of transformation. And it's usually that area of life where we have felt that things weren't very fair. And this is, you know, just for those astrology students out there, this is usually, again, all else being equal, videos about this will be coming up a little bit further down the road. But this is, I'm looking at Pluto. I'm thinking about Pluto, especially in a natal chart. Right now, you've got Pluto moving through the very bottom of your chart right now. And that's part of what's going to be activated this month with Venus meeting Pluto, with the Uranus-Pluto square, and with a new moon in the same part of the sky. So that's the Astro Tech Talk out of the way, so you know what I'm looking at as I talk about this. But essentially, every one of us, in at least one area of life, we have an area of life where we may feel that things were not fair, that maybe there were figures there who were over-empowering, maybe not very nice to us as well, where we feel that things were dealt or handed out in a way that ultimately created pain for you, created wounds possibly as well. And I think about this as also an energy where sometimes if you look at it a certain way, can really not be very nice, where maybe we felt that we were manipulated or betrayed in some way in that area of life. And it is in that very area of life that all of us are invited at some key moment in our life to decide if we are going to continue that energy, continue that cycle, or we are going to take that energy and transform it and elevate it and become a force of healing and transformation. If we're going to continue the patterns that were demonstrated to us, continue the feelings and perpetrate the feelings that we felt others perpetrated on us, or are we going to say, you know what? I don't want to play that game. I know the cost of that game. That ended up hurting me, and I don't want to be that source of hurt for anybody else in any way else, whether or not you know them personally or not. This is your very chance to do that, especially where it comes to your understanding of the past and the people in the past and your family of origin as well. Now, I do think, and I'm not saying that anything necessarily was so bad in the past for you, okay? Although a lot of us, it's very normal to go through things that hurt us in our childhood. And I actually think, in all honesty, that this is part of a very wise and loving universe that is helping us to understand ourselves more deeply, our inner reserve, and a lot of other layers as well. But that's not to say, and I know that there are people out there who go through things that are extraordinarily challenging. And so my heart does go out to you if you are one of those people. But regardless of whether it was, you know, something just very subtle, not very noteworthy, or more so, or something that sort of stands out as you think about your life, this is your chance to decide that you are going to transform that very experience into something positive in your life. You are going to transform that experience so it becomes a source of power and self-knowledge, and also that it becomes a source of you having enough self-knowledge to understand your real motivations, and from there deciding to be motivated by the highest understanding of what it means to be a human being, the highest understanding of being a force of love in this world. All of us at some point in our lives we do get to make that choice. We do reach these moments in our lives where we realize that, okay, in this moment, I can either choose to be a force of love, or I can keep going down roads that a lot of people have been going down. I can keep doing things a certain way, whether you keep doing them or you're repeating somebody else's patterns. Every one of us gets a point in life, usually several points in a life, where we get to decide if we're going to keep doing what's been done, or we're going to go about things a new way. And when you choose to go about things in a new way, yes, it's not always the easiest path. It's not always the path of least resistance, certainly, but it is a path that leads to a tremendous understanding of just how powerful you can be and just how resourceful you can be from the inside out. This is part of the opportunity that is available to you now. As part of this, I'm going to be honest, it might be possible for some of you out there to have some interactions with family members or people from the past that are part of inspiring this opportunity for you, part of inspiring this healing for you. But for others of you, it might end up actually playing out in a very literal level, where it might actually revolve around an actual home. It might be your home or another physical home, but it does look like in some way you are learning part of these sacred lessons in the context of having to deal with an actual physical house rather. And it might also be somebody that you live with as well, who plays a part in you deciding which direction your learning is going to go in. One thing is for sure, though, the universe really wants you to help you to understand that what you have within you is truly very strong, and that you can decide what it is ultimately that is going to define the guiding force for your life on a very basic and foundational level. And I think that you will also find that if you choose to behave absolutely ethically this month, and if you choose not to repeat automatic patterns, but rather to elevate the situation and operate in a way that allows you to feel that you're a force of love as you deal with people from the past, or you deal with people in real estate, or you deal with people that represent your understanding of what was, or people who represent something about your understanding of your relationship with yourself. But as you deal with these people from an elevated stance, you are going to find that self-respect is one of the first of many great rewards.